Hey guys, this is Matthew. I just wanted to record this real fast tutorial, just kind of giving you some context as far as setting up some file structure for this upcoming semester. Typically, there are 16 to 18 weeks in a semester, and so usually throughout the course of the curriculum, you will be tasked to complete 8 projects. And so you have to keep track of all of those projects, the files, the Illustrator files, Photoshop files, InDesign files, all of the assets that you're collecting and accumulating through that process. Um, if this is a drawing class or anything where you're working with your hands, you can take images of your process with your iPhone or device, and then you can drop them into a process folder so that you can archive things. But in general, you just really need to be organized. And so this is, again, a very fast video illustrating how I would suggest that you proceed, okay? And so let's say first thing that you're going to need is maybe a semester folder. And so I might begin by creating a folder and call it 2024-fall. I do have a preference for naming conventions for files, folders, all of that stuff. It probably comes from my experience with web development and web design, where generally you shouldn't be sort of compounding words and text into one long kind of like run-on sentence. You also don't want to use words like of, like essentially prepositions, like of, a, that. So, just keep it really simple, essentially. So 2024 dash fall, okay? And so I would not want to have 2024 and then immediately follow those numbers with these letter forms, fall, F-A-L-L. Rather, I think it's better to have a dash in between. I'll tell you, that's good for searching for these projects also down the road, because sometimes these things get buried in your archive, and you're going to be wanting to find these projects maybe 2, 3, 5 years down the road. And so if you name these things appropriately, you'll be able to find them more easily down the road. So that's part of the method to this madness. So 2024-fall, and now I'm going to double click into that file folder, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a course folder. And I would suggest calling it like, Art 180, Intro to Photography, for example, or whatever the course is, whatever works for you. But I would probably include the course number and prefix, and I would also include a description of the course. So I'm going to say Art 180 introduction. And instead of saying introduction of, I'm going to omit of, and I'm just going to say photography. Okay, so now I've got a course folder set up. And then within that course folder, I can start creating additional folders for projects. So I would just say project dash one. Okay. And then within that project folder, you can have an assets folder. What might go in that assets folder? Well, maybe you want to download the PDF project description that's up on Canvas that I've provided to you, because that's always a nice sort of resource to go back to, because that's part of your process of documenting your creativity. Why? What was the project prompt like? Obviously, that's pretty clear right now because you're looking at it here and now this semester. But again, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, if you're wondering, why did I make this project? I wonder what the prompt looked like. You can actually go into the assets folder and maybe find the prompt that I gave to you. Oftentimes projects require scans, just additional items. Anything associated with the creative process can be placed within that assets folder. And so I would encourage you to essentially almost become obsessed with your own creative process, and don't leave any stones unturned. Make sure that you grab all of these things that are associated with your vision, and document everything. Okay. Um, So of course, that would continue on throughout the semester as we're working on and completing projects. And eventually you would create a project folder called Project 8. And typically, again, as a reminder, I have 8 projects throughout the course of a semester, typically lasting around 2 to 3 weeks for each project. Um, yeah, stay organized, folks. I think that's good for now. Thanks for listening.